Hello and welcome to The Print. I am Aamaan, and in our Great Speeches series today, we look at an address by scholar and art historian Kapila Vatsyayan, delivered in March 2012. Vatsyayan gave the speech while accepting the 4th Thalia Prize awarded by the International Association of Theatre Critics in recognition of her contribution in cultural education, administration, and artistic works. Kapila Vatsyayan was the first woman and also the first dancer to receive the award, which is given for contributions to theatre, especially in critical thinking. In her address, she spoke about the interrelationship and interdependence of different art forms, from architecture to theatre, dance, and music. So, why revisit this speech now? Vatsyayan, who passed away on 16 September 2020, was one of India's most important writers on the subject of Indian theatre and dance. To theatre lovers in the West, her work opened new windows to Indian performing arts. Vatsyayan began her speech by explaining how the boundaries between theatre and dance are historically blurred. She said, "This is not the occasion to talk about the nature of Asian dance or Indian dance, but perhaps it is necessary to reiterate that neither at the theoretical level nor at the level of performance there has been any clear-cut distinction between what we call theatre and what we call dance. In Greek theatre, movement was intrinsic to the theatrical spectacle. One does not have to refer to Aristotle's Poetics to remind ourselves that theatre was all-inclusive of movement and mime. It is not for me to recount the history of the shift from the great Greek theatre space, such as Epidaurus, to closed theatres and proscenium stages. Nor is it necessary at this point to refer to the nature of drama and theatre in these closed spaces, with emphasis on the spoken word and the division between dramatic spectacles and the audience. Also well known and acknowledged today is the history of interrogation of the cloistered proscenium stage, realistic theatre, and the divorce of theatre from movement or dance. In this context, perhaps a reference to the emergence of the classical ballet in the West as a counterpoint or a counterfoil to theatre is relevant." End quote. The scholar then went on to reflect on her journey as a dancer. She said, "For me, it has been a journey from practice to theory, rather than accepting a theoretical hypothesis and then exploring or critiquing the phenomenon. I began as a dancer, and even at this age, I continue to be a dancer. My teachers came from all parts of India, north, south, and the east. As valuable was the learning from great masters and artists from the West. At home in India, I imbibed centuries of austere training and internalization from great masters. One teacher at 92 said that he now began to understand the intricacies of the movement of the fingers in relation to the palm and the wrist. Another from South India, also past 90, a teacher of many great Indian dancers, responded to my endless questions, ignorant as I was, saying, 'Look, I am at the shore looking at the ocean, watching the tides. Sometimes the tide comes and envelops me. Instead of asking me too many verbal questions, if you study dance with me for at least 10 or 12 years, a drop of water from the tide may touch you." End quote. Vatsyayan then pointed to the mathematical and geometrical ideas that are common to all Indian arts. She said, "Parallel has been my endeavor to identify the fundamental mathematical principles underlying all the arts, ranging from architecture, theatre, dance, and music. And my book, The Square and the Circle of Indian Arts, addresses itself to the fundamental mathematical and geometrical abstractions underlying these arts. Logically, it was the study of dance and theatre which propelled me to view all Indian arts in their aspects of interrelationship and interdependence. The bronze figure of Mohenjo-daro, sculptural reliefs on the Indian monuments, Hindu, Buddhist, or Jain, and Southeast Asian monuments told me incontrovertibly that the sculptural reliefs were only arrested movement." End quote. Vatsyayan concluded her speech by sharing an exchange between King Vajra and sage Markandeya, emphasizing that the interconnectedness and layered learning involved in traditional Indian arts. Thank you for joining us in Great Speeches. For more from The Print, become a subscriber at theprint.in/subscribe. I am Aamaan in Delhi.